I'm not crazy. I'm not imagining this. Something came into my room, and my phone saw it. I didn't even know the recording existed at first. I only found it because my storage was full and I started deleting random junk files. Buried deep in a folder I never used was an audio file with no name, no thumbnail, and no clear origin. Just a timestamp, 3:12 a.m. I almost deleted it. I wish I had. The moment I pressed play, I heard it. My room. My exact room. The faint hum of my fan. The low electrical buzz from the charger I leave plugged in beside my bed. And over all of it, breathing. Slow. Wet. Close. At first, I told myself it had to be me. People breathe in their sleep, right? Phones accidentally record stuff all the time. That's normal. That's logical. Then I heard the footsteps. Soft. Careful. Not rushed. Like whoever it was didn't want to wake me. Like they had done this before. I could hear fabric shifting. A faint creak that could only be from the floorboard right beside my bed. The side of the bed I sleep facing away from. I turned the volume up. That was my second mistake. There was a pause. A long one. The breathing changed. Slower. Closer. Like a face leaning down toward the microphone. Toward my pillow. And then I heard a whisper. It was my voice. Not similar. Not close. It was me. My exact tone. My exact rhythm. Quiet, tired, and low. I'm right here. I yanked the phone away from my ear like it had burned me. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I sat there in the dark, staring at the black screen, trying to convince myself there was a normal explanation. I live alone. No roommates. No visitors. No keys given out. No open windows. No broken locks. There was one more sound at the end of the recording. A sound I didn't notice at first. A soft, slow clicking noise. Almost like fingernails tapping gently on glass. That was the worst part. And that's when I decided to check the next file. That's when everything really started. Before that night, my life was painfully boring. Not the kind of boring people complain about online. Like, ugh, my vacation was too quiet, or nothing to do in my mansion today. I mean the real kind. The silent, stale kind. The kind where the loudest thing in your apartment at night is the refrigerator clicking on and off like it's the only living thing that remembers how to breathe. I lived alone in a small apartment that always smelled faintly like dust and old carpet cleaner. No pets. No visitors. No surprise knocks on the door. Just me, four walls, and a phone that never left my hand. I worked from home, ordered food instead of cooking, and spoke out loud only when I needed to test if my voice still worked. Every night was the same routine. Lights off, curtains closed, fan humming in the corner, me lying in bed, staring at my ceiling, scrolling endlessly through videos and posts I'd forget the moment I closed them. Insomnia wasn't dramatic for me. It wasn't poetic. It was just empty. Hours of being awake with nothing but my thoughts and the dull glow of my screen reflecting off the walls. Sometimes I'd laugh at myself. Living alone was supposed to be dangerous, right? That's what movies said. Urban legends always start with this person lived by themselves. I used to think it was funny. If something supernatural wanted to visit me, it would probably get bored and leave. There was nothing here worth haunting. Nothing interesting ever happens to me. I used to think that like a joke, like a defense mechanism, like I was lucky. My apartment felt safe because it was predictable. Every small noise had an explanation. Pipes adjusting, neighbor's TV muffled through the wall, wind rattling the cheap blinds. I never felt watched, never felt followed, never felt like I wasn't alone. That's what makes this worse. I would fall asleep with my phone on my chest or beside my pillow almost every night. Not because I was scared of the dark, but because it felt like holding. I didn't know my phone had been recording me for weeks. I didn't know there were files stacking up in a place I never looked. And I definitely didn't know that the first time it started recording, I wasn't the only one in the room. The first glitch didn't feel like horror. It felt like nothing, which is why I almost ignored it when I saw it. I found the file by accident. That's the scariest part, I think. Not that it existed, but that it could have stayed hidden forever if my storage hadn't filled up. I was deleting useless screenshots and old downloads when I noticed a file sitting alone in a folder I never used. No name, no thumbnail, just a gray, blank icon and a timestamp. 3:12 a.m. I stared at it for a long time before tapping it. My first thought wasn't fear. It was confusion. Did I turn this on? I whispered to myself. The screen went black. No video. Just darkness. For a second, I thought maybe the file was corrupted. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just close. Intimate. Like someone had their mouth right next to the microphone. Slow inhales. Soft, careful exhales. The kind of breathing someone makes when they're trying not to be noticed. I felt my stomach tighten. Why does that breathing sound like it's coming from above my bed? I said out loud, and immediately hated that I had. Then came the thump. It was faint, but it was real. A dull, padded sound, like something soft hitting carpet. I recognized that sound because I've made it before. That's the sound your mattress makes when a body shifts on it. When weight changes. When someone sits down. But I live alone. My heart started racing, not in a cinematic way, but in a quiet, shaking way. That slow panic that crawls up your throat and makes your hands feel numb. I skipped ahead in the file, just a few seconds at a time. Every jump forward made the breathing closer. Heavier. Like whoever it was leaning in. I stopped the audio before it ended. I told myself I'd imagined it. That it had to be accidental. Some background app bug. Some weird system glitch. That was easier than the real possibility. Then I scrolled. There were more files. Dozens of them. Different timestamps. Different nights. All between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m. All unnamed. All blank. I didn't open them. Not then. I just stared at the list, my thumb hovering over the screen, feeling the weight of every file like a secret I wasn't supposed to touch. I was scared to know how many of them were worse. I was scared to know what I'd hear. I closed the folder. I sat in silence. And then curiosity won. I tapped the second file. The second file started almost the same way. Black screen. Quiet static. That low electrical hum from the charger. I felt stupid for being scared. I almost laughed at myself. I thought, okay, it's just bad audio. Bad compression. Your brain is filling in the blanks. Then I heard footstep sounds again. Clearer this time. Closer. They weren't random. They weren't creaky floor noises or distant building sounds. They were slow, deliberate steps across carpet. Soft footfalls that stopped right beside the bed. I could hear fabric shifting through the microphone, like sleeves brushing against sheets, like clothes moving as someone bent down. I felt cold. I could hear the mattress. There's a very specific sound a mattress makes when someone sits down on it. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's just a small, tired dip. A quiet, depressed spring sound. Like a breath being knocked out of something soft. That sound was in the recording. Something sat on the bed. My bed. I held my phone in front of me, staring at the blank screen, my reflection shaking. I couldn't remember moving that night. I couldn't remember waking up. I couldn't remember feeling anything unusual. In my memory, I slept peacefully. I remember the fan blowing cool air. I remember dreaming about nothing at all. But the audio said otherwise. The breathing wasn't mine anymore either. It was heavier, slower. There was a slight wetness to it, like it was coming from a mouth that didn't feel right. It hovered near the microphone, close enough that I could almost feel it on my skin. Then the whisper happened. It wasn't loud. It wasn't sharp. It was careful. Not yet. 2 words. Soft. Patient. Like whoever said it was responding to something I couldn't hear. Like they were standing in my room, waiting for something that hadn't happened. I paused the recording. My hands were shaking so badly the phone rattled. I checked the walls like I expected to see someone standing there in real life. I checked the door. Locked. Windows. Sealed. Closet. Empty. Everything looked normal. Everything felt wrong. I pressed play again. The recording ended a few seconds later, not with a bang, not with a scream, but with silence. Like the phone decided it had heard enough. I sat there for a long time, breathing through my mouth, trying to slow my heart down. Memory told me I was safe. The evidence said I wasn't. I scrolled back to the list of files, and for the first time, I noticed something I hadn't paid attention to before. There were system logs linked to the files, hidden behind a menu I'd never opened. If my phone was recording by itself, something had to be triggering it. An app, a system process, a permission I never gave. I tapped into the settings and started reading the security logs.